Hello, everybody. Randy Patterson here with Boomerocity. If you followed us very long at all, you'll know over the last couple of years, I've had the privilege of interviewing several members of the band Exile, co-founder J.P. Pennington, and then Sonny Lemaire, and then also Marlon Harges. And this time, I got to talk with the band's drummer, Steve Goetzman, also original member of the band. They have a lot of hits here in the States and internationally, but they're probably best known for the hit from 1978, Kiss You All Over. It was controversial. There's two versions of the story of what it really means, and both of them came from JP. And so, anyway, if you know the song, you know why I'm kind of giggling about it. But anyway, it was a thrill to be able to finally talk to Steve, and we had a great time chatting about the history of the band, what they've experienced, and the impact of this one song the world over. A lot of fun. So I think you're really going to enjoy this interview, even if you're just vaguely familiar with the band. The chat itself is just a lot of fun. So please listen to it and don't hit stop right now, okay? Listen to the whole thing. And while you're at it, if you don't mind, please subscribe to the channel that you're watching or listening to this on. You know, it doesn't cost you anything. It shouldn't. And it also helps us in the long run. So please do if you don't mind. Also, please let your friends know about us. Let them know about this interview. Feel free to share it is what I'm trying to say. So without any further ado, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity and the first interview with Steve Goetzman of Exile. Until next time, take care. Hello, Steve. How you doing?
Randy, I'm okay. I'm so sorry about the mix-up this morning.
Not a problem.
I was just out walking. Somehow the invitation slipped from my calendar and disappeared. I have no idea.
That has happened to me too. I know it happens, especially with some of these Zoom connections and such. It's I've missed one or two myself, so I won't name names though. So how are things in your world? How's the post-pandemic world treating you?
Well, it's been interesting. I managed to make good use of my time during the pandemic around the house here, but I hope we don't have to live through something like that again.
Boy, I had a call the other day with a blues guy, Joe Bonamassa, and we started talking about that Ryman gig he did during the shutdown. And boy, it was like, Joe, that's a little tough, man. He was going off on some of the ridiculousness that he had to go through just to do a show at the Ryman to cardboard cutouts.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, there's some guy going around spraying doorknobs all around, you know how it is back there, but it was just, he was not in a good mood actually. So
I'm glad all that's over, at least for now.
Hope so. I mean, we're still hearing of people coming down with it and all that. I mean, honestly, Steve, I think it's just another cold or flu or something. I mean, some people were susceptible. Some people are prone to die from things like that. So I mean, I think that's what we're covering.
Yeah, but my bandmate J.P. Pennington had it 2 weeks ago, and his wife got it. And
really?
It wasn't severe, but they were pretty sick for a few days. So it's out there lurking.
Yeah. Well, I interviewed JP a couple years ago. Great guy. And I've also interviewed two other of your bandmates, Sonny and Marlon. So it's a pleasure to finally get to talk with you. So
sorry you had to talk with the other guys. It must have been a terrible imposition.
Well, it was part of that initiation to be able to get to you. So, gosh, 60 years of the band and 45 years of Kiss You All Over.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about all that? Do you think it's going to work out for you?
I think so. We keep trying. Actually, we feel blessed. I mean, here we're all in our 70s now, and we're still going strong. We haven't let up in energy or vitality. We're still doing about 60 shows a year, which is a good for us at our age.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going well. We have the new single out now, and that's it's not setting the world on fire, but it's steady upward movement. It could catch at any time if it's going to. So hey, what else could we ask for?
Well, you have a loyal fan base, and that speaks volumes. Not everybody gets to enjoy that, and to
Right.
be able to still, I mean, I remember catching you guys. I think it was I forget what it was. It's something Bev put together at one of the restaurants downtown there in Nashville. It was out. You guys were outdoors, down near Third and Lindsley, and
Yeah.
I forget what it was about, but it was about 4 years ago. It was before the shutdown, of course, and seeing
Right.
the fans, I would just kind of mill around and listen to what they were saying and such, and just that loyalty you guys have. To me, that is so important to keep a band like yours going and bringing in new fans and just
Mm.
enjoying the heck out of what you do. I just think that's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And we still, as we tour, people keep showing up and buying tickets. And just the other night, the front row was filled with young women. And so the young people are coming too. And so it's gratifying. It really is after all these years.
What are you hearing from the younger fans? I can imagine you've heard it all from old farts like me, but younger fans that are discovering your music, what are they saying to you about it?
Well, the only information we really get on the road is, if we happen to ask, did you recognize the songs? And they say yes. And then if you dig in a little bit deeper, then they say that most of them have just been recently exposed, somehow. Well, some of them say they grew up with it because of their parents.
Yeah.
But others say that they, somehow or another have come across Exile, perhaps by virtue of the single, or by word of mouth, and so obviously they weren't there when we were having the string of hits, but they're catching on and they like the music, and that's gratifying.
The hits may have been the reason why they're here, right? I mean,
It could be, yeah,
it could
yeah.
be. So
Said that.
I'm sure they have. Um, so thinking back to the beginning of the band 60 years ago, did you have it was in your wildest dreams that you guys would still be doing what you're doing all these years later?
No, not in our wildest dreams. The band got together in the very beginning to as a way to meet girls. And that's really the truth. But
Even bass players and drummers, right?
that's right.
So,
And so it started that way, just as fun, and then through the years, as we got recognized here and there as being special and a standout band, then we started taking it more seriously,
yeah.
and then turned into a full-blown group commitment.
Yeah. How was that from your perspective when that realization finally started hitting you that, hey, we've got something here and we're going to actually commit to it and I don't have to go work at McDonald's. What was that? What went through your mind and all that? And I mean, I'm sure it probably was, you were probably getting pulled in other directions. People saying you don't want to be a musician, you'll starve. The old joke, what's the difference between pizza and a musician? A pizza can feed a family of four. I'm sure you heard it all. Was that tempting to listen to them and kind of peel away and not do this thing called Exile?
Yeah, sure. I mean, when you step out to go for the brass ring in the music business, that's a serious step, because almost inevitably what follows is starvation for
Yeah.
a number of years. And there's really no way around that. And so I think for me, you might get 5 different answers to this question, but for me, producer Mike Chapman stepped up to the plate and took an interest in the band, and that was when I thought, this is really serious, because Mike Chapman was a hugely successful producer in Europe and other foreign countries, and he came to America to find an American artist and break them, and we were that band that he found. Then after that, he went on to produce and break Blondie, Nick Gilder, the Knack, and some other big artists. So, but when he came on board with Exile, that was when I felt this might happen.
Yeah. Are you guys big overseas?
We were, yes. We Kiss You All Over was the only big pop hit we had here in America. So as far as America was concerned, we were a one-hit wonder band. But overseas, we had a string of hits in a lot of countries. So for 2 or 3 years, we pretty much toured overseas exclusively.
Wow.
South Africa was huge for us. We set all kinds of records, music business records in the country. So we toured down there a couple of times. But then we came back here and switched to country, and then we started having hit after hit, and that was what we were hoping for.
Yeah. So when you guys did Kiss You All Over, I know JP talked about it with me a couple years ago. I don't think I talked so much with Sonny and Marlon about it. We were just talking about the newer stuff coming out. But from your recollection, first of all, how did you feel about recording that song? Any funny stories or any serious stories you recall about that song? I think I remember saying something to JP about, how did he face his parents for that one? So, and then I think he said that there was, I meant Kiss You All Over and Over Again, meaning repetitively, not like physically. Right. I said, yeah, that's a good story, JP. That you used to stick with that. So what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, Mike Chapman and his partner, Nicky Chin, wrote the song and wrote it for us. And so when Mike came in to Lexington, he flew in from LA to rehearse with us. He brought that song with him on a cassette tape. And so it was so radically different from anything else we were doing that we really didn't take it very seriously. We just dug in and gave him the best performance we could give him. And he was very impressed. And we went in the studio, cut that song and 2 others. And with those 3 songs, he got us a deal on Warner Brothers. So I remember after we had finished the album, I remember one day JP said to me, he said, "What do you think about Kiss You All Over being the first single?" And I just shook my head, no. I didn't think it was a good choice at all. And he shook his head no, in agreement. We just felt because it was different than stuff we had been doing prior to getting that song, it just didn't feel like it was a good fit. But Pat, was it ever?
Yeah. Probably made you a small little fortune there, I'm sure.
Well, it's given all of us a charmed life. And
I can imagine. Any musician, any performer prays for just one of those. My friend Rob Parisi, who did was with Wild Cherry and did play that funky music. I mean, he's living well just from that one song, and he's glad to be called a one-hit wonder. You guys had multiple hits, but that's all he's really known for, and he doesn't have a problem with it, and I don't blame him. To have that one hit would be wonderful.
Yeah.
What I remember seeing a video on YouTube that one of those TV programs that you guys were on, there was somebody dressed up like an old floozy and was dancing around in the studio audience and kind of swooning over that song and all that. It made me wonder what are there any humorous stories that you have either heard or witnessed or experienced over the years with the performance of this song?
Oh, God, there are countless stories. Now I probably won't be able to remember the first one. The first thing that comes to mind is something we touched on a minute ago, and that is a lot of people over the years have come up and said, "I'm here because of Kiss You All Over." That song, as a matter of fact, it's on the top 10 sexiest songs ever, Billboard. I think it's for a while I thought it was number 6. I heard the other day it's number 9. So but I know it's in the top 10 somewhere. So it's had that effect, and we've heard a lot of people say, "I'm here because of it." But it was very controversial in the beginning. It was.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah. In its day, in 1978, it was a dirty song, and like JP was saying, you could interpret it one of 2 ways. A lot of interpreted it as a dirty song, and they. Do you remember Paul Harvey?
Oh yeah, of course.
Paul Harvey, for your audience who doesn't know, was the top talk show host in the United States. He was syndicated, went all across the country. He devoted an entire hour speaking out against it, saying that we were corrupting America's youth, and and when you listen to the song now, it's ridiculously tame in comparison to almost everything else that's out there.
Not true. I think I even heard Jimmy Swaggart preached against it once or twice, and how'd that turn out for him? I don't know. So,
yeah, I didn't have that, but on the other hand, that was a lot of its success too. The controversy sells, and
ask Elvis. It's from that point forward. If it bleeds, it reads, right? So,
yeah.
What about now? What about people from our age group that were young when that thing hit? What are you hearing anything from that as far as experiences? Any reminiscing that you hear from the fans about the song?
Well, only that in what comes to mind is what with any song, it evokes memories, and people thank us all the time after concerts for the memories that they had during the show. And "Kiss You All Over," of course, was a worldwide hit, so a lot of people experience that, and when they hear it today, that song, everybody knows that song. We hit the opening chord, and everybody knows it's just a C chord. There's nothing particularly different about it, but somehow everybody knows from the first measure of that song exactly what we're going to play.
Well, let me guess, it's an encore song, right?
It's the last song of the set, and then if we get an encore, then we come back out and we do a medley of hits that you would know, that everybody would know.
Yeah.
Through the years, through the decades, we've opened shows for a lot of really, really great acts: Aerosmith, Heart, Kenny Rogers, all of the country headliners, Dave Mason, a lot of big acts. So we have taken some of our favorite songs from those artists, and we do them in a medley as our encore.
Oh, how fun! I'd love to hear that. Love to hear that. So you guys are touring, and obviously you're getting a lot of media interest on this. What's the media saying to you today? Besides bozos like me, what are you hearing from the media about the reminiscing about this song?
Well, about the song, only a mention of it, that we were the band behind the song. What we're getting back that's most remarkable is the new single is really up tempo. It's a rocker, and they're surprised that after 31 years absent from radio, that we would hit with something like this, as opposed to like a soft ballad or whatever. Right. We're coming out with a vengeance, and that's what we're hearing.
Well, tell fans about this new single. What if they haven't heard it yet? So tell them something, make them go find it and buy it.
Okay. JP and Les and a famous songwriter, Larry Cordell, wrote this song. And they wrote it a long time ago, and it's been cut by quite a few artists. Travis Tritt actually recorded it, and it was released as a single, and he was having a hit. He was screaming up the charts, but this was back when Napster had taken over and all the illegal downloading, and our industry was collapsing around us, and his label closed in the midst of this song being a hit. So it's a hit song. So we recorded it primarily because we loved it, and we knew that Les would just sing the fire out of it, which he did. And sure enough, it seems to be doing well.
And tell fans the name of it.
It's Rough Around the Edges.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. So you guys are on the road. Are you on the road much more the rest of the year? When do you guys slow down some to close out the year?
I think we're playing almost every weekend through the end of the year, and they're booking dates in January and February now.
Yeah,
Uh,
I need to see when you guys are playing near me. I'm over in Sevierville now, over in the
oh,
Smokies. And I'd
yeah.
love to see you guys again. And so I'll look you up and see where it is. And maybe I can come backstage and bump elbows with you guys again. So,
Yeah, but you would. You'll, of course, you'll have red carpet treatment wherever you show up. Glad.
the one liner that just flashed through my mind, I'm going to keep to myself. But but I would love to see you guys again. I mean, I remember. I don't know if I know you were probably on the call, but you remember you guys did a streaming concert during the shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
And Bev asked me if I would, dial into it. And then there was a little kind of like a virtual meet and greet after that. And it was right after I talked to JP. And so it was really cool how there was just a, small handful of us there, mostly fans. I think there's one or two media types. I don't consider myself a media type, but I fell into that cubbyhole. And what I was struck by is that I know you guys hear the same questions a zillion times, and I do my best to try to avoid them, but sometimes you just can't. But I was struck by how each and every one of you guys were so gracious. Especially there was one lady, I forget her name, but I got the impression she may have been disabled, but she was just a rabid fan of you guys, and she kept asking different questions. And you could tell this was just the highlight of her life.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were so nice, so gracious, so accommodating. Nothing was too corny or too off base or anything when it came to her. And I that just spoke volumes to me about the kind of men you guys are in the band and how you feel about the fans. And so, you're always the top of my list of gracious entertainers when it comes to fans and even guys like me. So thank you for that. Thank you for all the years of great music, man, and especially that song.
Yeah.
I,
Well, thank you. Kind words, Randy. I really appreciate that. And we do, we have answered the same question a million times over the years, same questions. But it's just like performing the same songs over and over and over. Your answer needs to be fresh. You're talking to someone who is genuinely curious about this or that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, a stock answer is just not right.
Right.
Even if the words you use have been used before, it still has to be fresh, and it needs to be, you need to answer that person, not just a person. So it's all about being grateful for our fans and for the success that we've had. And that's where it all comes from.
There are a lot of artists that need to learn that lesson, man. Let me tell you, I've seen some things. Let's put it that way. Two more questions, and then I'll cut you loose. Number one, are you working on anything solo wise or any other projects that you'd like fans to know about?
Well, no, yeah. I'm doing a solo album, just drums. No, I'm kidding. I've thought about going out on the road as a drummer and playing Motown hits and have the people guess which song I'm playing. No, but to answer your question seriously, no, I'm not working on anything. I do work with younger acts in a management capacity.
Oh, cool.
Developing acts, and I really enjoy that. But that's about it. That's about what I'm doing on the side.
Well, to that point, whether it's that album of nothing but drum solos, or the bands you're managing, if you feel like there are the type of talent that would be of interest to our demographic, people our age, I'm wide open, because it's not just about people that we grew up listening to that I'm all about. I'm also wanting to turn on baby boomers to new talent that they may enjoy. And so if you got anything like that, please reach out to me and we'll do one of these. And I mean, and anything you've got going on, you and the band, of course, I'm always chatting with Bev. So, my door is always open to you is what I'm trying to say here. So,
good to hear. Thank you, Randy.
my final question is, when you step off of the tour bus of life up at the Great Gig in the Sky, to borrow from Pink Floyd, what do you hope your legacy is, and how do you want to be remembered?
Oh gosh, I think for kindness more than anything else. It's hard to be kind all the time in this life, especially in a business like ours where it's so competitive.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think at my age and the way I see things now, kindness is so important, and I work at that. I know I'm not perfect, but I try hard, and that would be a nice legacy.
Well, I think you do amazingly well because I'll speak for you on this. I know that there's always people wanting something from you, and whether it's guys like me wanting to, 30 minutes of your time to interview you or somebody wanting an autograph, the selfie with you, sit down and try to have a cup of coffee with you and you've got someplace to go. Everybody's wanting something from an artist. And I know you guys experience it all the time. And I've watched it, like I said, in that virtual meet and greet. You guys were class all the way. And so, I think everybody's human. They have their moments. And, but you guys, with the litany of things coming at you, I think you guys do a phenomenal job. So my hat's off to you there. So
Thanks, Randy. I appreciate that.
well, listen, you stay safe. Thanks for the time. And I'll see you on at one of your shows sometime in the near future. Okay.
Yeah, please do come. Thank you.
All right. Look forward to talking to you again, Steve. Take care.
See you.
All right. Bye-bye.